Hello, everyone. This is the Artist Cafe, where we come together to talk about art and life and whatever else. My name is Ann-Marie Cheung, and I am a visual artist and creative adventure guide, where I help you create sacred painting practices. And I'm located in Ontario, Canada, just a couple of hours west of Toronto. And for my guest today, I have Pamela Mann. So, Pamela, if you could introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I'm Pamela Mann, and I am an artist. I am also an interfaith minister and sometimes see myself as a spiritual midwife. And just a very much a creative person all around. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is about 50 miles south of Washington, D.C. and 50 miles north of Richmond. So I'm like in Central Virginia, along the eastern part of the state. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're not too far from me. Like we're in the same time zones, anyways.
So yes, just a few hours away. I think if I went to Ontario, it would probably be like maybe a 9 or 10 hour drive. So about that far.
Still pretty far.
Yeah, it is. But still, in relativity to the whole world, it's pretty close.
So if anyone's with us on the live, if you have any comments or questions, please post them. And if I see them, I can answer them. So Pamela and I met through the Creatively Fit coaching program with Whitney Freya. And Pamela is actually one of our guides for the program. When did you start? When did you take the program?
I trained with Whitney in 2018. And after I graduated, after I became certified, there was so much information and so much transformation that happened that I really took a couple of years to just kind of process and integrate all that I learned into practice painting. And then when there was an opportunity to be a guide, Spirit nudged me. And so I said yes. And I'm really, really glad that I offered to be a guide, because it has been a delight to be a support to our new coaches in training and to share some of my experiences and to really be supportive to you as you move through your processes. Having a guide is really, really helpful. I know that when I trained with Whitney, the guides that we had were a lifeline for me. And so I hope I've been able to give a little bit of that back. When I first started training with Whitney, I hadn't really done much with acrylics. I really had pretty much been using water pencils, watercolors, and colored pencils, markers for my artwork. So it really, really stretched me. And then I discovered like a whole new world with art expression. And that was very, very exciting to be able to work with the acrylics. I had, in my experience, worked with others that had been using similar painting processes as Whitney's here and there. And that was one of the things that attracted me to becoming a creative fit coach, was the way that Whitney has incorporated working with spirit and bringing in the understanding of the world to support us, and of different images and symbols emerge based on that, and just allowing spirit to speak versus just copying a picture and say, I'm going to paint this. It like literally opened up my world. And it was the first time that I was able to see the images that were in my mind and be able to translate them onto something tangible that I could see other than photography. And so it's just been an amazing ride.
And you're also...
And in that process, that's how I've come to where I really, really like the shamanic painting. I find that I'm able to use my gifts.
Yeah, you seem to be breaking up a little bit, but that's
Oh,
okay. Hope the connection lasts.
all right.
So,
I'm going to move a little bit closer to a window. Maybe that will help the connection.
okay.
Hopefully
So
that's
can you can you describe to people what exactly is shamanic painting? Those that haven't heard the term before.
okay. Shamanic painting incorporates the practice of painting, and you open up to your intuition, and you might be open to calling in some guides or some energies to assist you. And what I do is I go into a meditative state and I call on the energy of, like, sometimes I might pull an oracle card, or maybe I will want to work with the energy of the goddess or an energy of a particular animal. And I go into meditation and I allow that myself to connect to that energy, and then using that energy to kind of free form and allow that to go onto the canvas and just kind of start playing around, almost starting with like a soul scribble, just kind of, dabbling and playing around. And then as I'm working and connecting to that energy, as I'm just kind of playing around on the bottom layers, pieces of an image will start to emerge. And so then I hone in on that, and then I begin to connect with that and then see what image wants to come through. And I also will do a little bit of ritual with that, where I, will call in spirit, and then I will light some candles. And I frequently will use essential oils that I use my intuition to diffuse, and sometimes even put them into the paintbrush water. And when I do the shamanic painting also, I tend to use rainwater or some kind of elements from nature and bring that into the painting and into the environment as well. So that's kind of my definition of shamanic painting. It might be different for someone else.
Yeah, sounds like a wonderful practice.
Yeah, I can show you a couple of the paintings that are going to be behind me that I show you are going to be some of the results of that practice.
Okay.
The elephant emerged first, and then as I was painting, then this angel came in through. And so this is my North Star. And then this one right here, I did with the Phoenix, and then the angel wanted to come in, and there's this part over here is actually the energy of the whale.
I love it.
And
beautiful.
And then this one is a mixed media, where I did like painting the background and then added photographic images to create like a collage effect. And that was done based on a meditation about where I wanted to see myself in the future and use my gifts that way. And that was kind of like what emerged from that session. And so that was all done intuitively.
Wonderful. I love it.
Thank you.
You taught us a class on the labyrinth that was really amazing as one of our guides.
Yes.
So yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about labyrinths?
Oh, absolutely. The labyrinth is based on a spiral, and it is an archetype, and it has shown up in every culture and every society and every continent on the planet. There are evidence of it. And depending on your research, and of course, there's always new discoveries that are occurring, there has been evidence of them as being as far as back as 5,000 years ago. And they came in the form of concentric circles and very, very simple, almost looking like a mushroom. And those are called classical labyrinths, where they typically will have 7 paths, but they can have 5 as well. And what that means is, like, if you were looking at it, they would be like the negative space in between the lines.
Hmm.
And it looks like a maze, but it's not a maze because there's no trick turns, there's no false turns or anything like that. And when you work with the labyrinth, there's only one way in, and then you eventually reach a center place where you can pause and reflect. And then you walk back out the same way that you came in. And so that's called a unicursal path. And that's what that is. And what that the difference between working with the labyrinth and a maze is that a maze is meant to engage the logical left brain and to have you think. And when you work with the labyrinth, because there are no false turns, then that is meant to be meditative and to go into your right brain and to go into the creative part and to calm down. And when you work with the labyrinth, because you are working on the left and the right side of your hemisphere, it actually brings balance. And that's what brings a meditative state and the peacefulness and the calm, and also the repetition of just moving and meandering back and forth from one side of the labyrinth until you get into the center. They are in caves, they've been on rocks, land, and coins. When they came into the Christian church in the 1200s, then they had more complicated designs, and then that's when they started going into other places. And their research also shows that labyrinths kind of have an ebb and flow into their purpose based on what's happening collectively, spiritually for evolution. And so when they researched in the 1980s, it really was to help us move through this time that we're moving into now. And it really meets us where we are spiritually as a way to go in and reach our higher self and also reach into universal guidance. Is working with a labyrinth in a nutshell.
Do you know where the first one was ever found? How long ago was it, you think?
I'm not sure where the very first one was located, because since I've done my research, there have been updates, but some of the primitive ones, the very beginning, were in the continent of Africa. And then there's also evidence of Greece and Italy, where they started out on rocks or drawings in caves. And then they have evolved since then. But I think they also began before there was even written document. So that's why it's really kind of difficult to know exactly when. And then, of course, as we have more technology and archaeology with their digs and stuff, that's where the evidence comes in. We see more and more where they go back even further in date and time. And so, you know, labyrinth is something that you can walk, and it's also something that you can draw and work with your fingers. So it doesn't always have to be one form or another. It can be more than one way.
It's also fascinating. I love it. Yeah, I've been on a few walking ones too.
Yes.
I used to take my kids. My kids used to love labyrinths and mazes as well. Those hedge mazes.
Yes, yes. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I don't see any comments coming up at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm sure more people will probably watch on the replay. Just check and see here.
Yeah, probably within the next week or so, I will do a short video on how to draw a labyrinth. So it was so well received when we had our open studio. I will create a video and put that out there. It's very, very simple to draw. The very ancient ones, the classical ones, are very, very easy. You start with a seed pattern and then just kind of connect the dots and the lines, and then you have your labyrinth.
Yeah, I started making some after I watched your class on it. I was inspired to make more, and it was a rather it's relaxing, meditative process in drawing and painting one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I like working with them. in painting them because they are so relaxing. So what have they been on canvases, or how have you done them in watercolor?
Just in a watercolor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't done any on canvas yet, but just in my my journal type of thing, I've been doing some. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing I like about having them in the journal too, is if you are comfortable with ripping the page out, then you can take them when you're traveling. Like I love taking finger labyrinths when I'm on a plane and I feel like I'm getting some writer's block, or if I have a little bit of anxiety about flying, then I can pull my labyrinth out and start working with that and then create some shifts. And I love that I can take it anywhere I want to go.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any tips for our creatively fit coaches that are in the training right now? Any advice?
Yeah, I do. One of them is one of the things that Whitney has told us many, many times is there's no wrong way. That whatever expresses itself through you is a message from your soul. And so it's perfect and it's divine. And to really enjoy the process. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to tap into your creativity and tap into that voice that can't be articulated through words sometimes, or even written, sometimes through the colors and the energy and vibration is, coming out, emerging that way is the only way to express some parts of your soul. And so I just allow yourself to have fun with it. And when I paint, I always tell my perfectionist she can go take a nap. And she can come back later, because I find that's one of the biggest blocks that I have in moving forward sometimes. And I've also learned to allow my perfectionist to become my ally, because my perfectionist is also helping me to say, if you go a little bit further, that's going to be a fucking amazing painting versus it's a good painting.
I know. I think a lot of us battle with that perfectionism thing. But I think the important thing is to just keep showing up as your authentic self, right?
Yes. And to just learn how to make your perfectionist be your ally and to not allow it to be your saboteur. But to also give it some honor and recognition, because the more you can integrate that in and let it know that it's okay, the less it kicks in, and to just be okay with it. And I just, invite people to explore. And I know that sometimes I get really busy and hectic in days, and I feel that whenever I'm not creative, life doesn't go well. So sometimes it might seem mechanical, but sometimes I will just set an alarm for 10, 15, 30 minutes. And once I allow myself that creative moment, everything else flows. And so that's the best way that I stay in my painting practice, is to do a little bit every day. And if I can't devote a whole day, like I normally like to just have an alarm and just a little bit of time. And that just makes a huge difference in my day.
Yeah, so we deal with a lot of symbols in the course as well. I was wondering, do you have a favorite symbol or symbols that you are particularly drawn to?
I have a lot of the infinities, Fini 8 symbols, the infinity symbol, and hearts emerge frequently, spirals. A lot of times Metatron's cube comes in there. I get a lot of triangles and a lot of spirals. And I usually end up getting a lot of trees. That's just something that I really, really resonate with, because I feel like it's part of that bridge between above and below. And then I can see myself as the tree, as being that bridge, bringing those energies in. So almost every painting has a tree in there at some point in time, as well as a lot of water. up in the underlayers of my paintings as well. With Whitney's stencils that she has, the stencil sets that we have, the one that looks almost like a goddess, where it's, I think it's the two hearts there. That one shows up in most of mine. And then, of course, the Om symbol. I'm very much connected to the oneness of all. And I find that it's a great way for me to get started on creating a body. If I'm painting a goddess, it's kind of lends itself to a natural outline to create a person from it. And so that other one with the two hearts of Whitney's that are together are also good for goddess figures, to give them a little bit of shape. And I have taken the sun one and then used just the flame part of it as the hair, so that they're like these wild women dancing at the campfire.
Oh, lovely.
Is one of the other things that I like to put into my underlayers, is a lot of fire and sun energy as well.
Beautiful.
Those seem to be the ones that come up the most. And then sometimes just handprints too. There's something really primal about getting your hands to the paint.
For sure, yeah.
Getting that onto the canvas. And so I love having my handprints, but even just rubbing my hands on the canvas can really take me deep within. And sometimes I've even done that to like calm myself down, even if I don't have paints around me, is to just get a canvas and just kind of rub my hands on the canvas. It's really, really nurturing and grounding.
It is, yeah. I love it too. So, any last comments or anything you want to, do you have anything coming up that you want to promote, or?
I am going to be facilitating a shamanic painting live in Virginia at Mind, Body, and Soul Wellness Center in Alexandria, and I can post on that. I'm going to try and do some recordings from that, so I can get that going. And then I'm going to start offering some online painting classes, but I feel like I kind of need to get back into doing it live and get through that first, the comfort there, before going online. But my advice is to just follow Nike's advice and just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
As far as it is for, anything that you think you can't do, just do the opposite and just do it. And to really take advantage of this group energy right now of the 21-day challenge coming into Facebook Lives. It really doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to show up and get comfortable in being in front of the camera.
Yes, this is day 3.
Yes. And so there's still plenty of time if nobody has leapt into it yet. Like, I haven't actually facilitated a Facebook Live yet myself, but this has inspired me that I will be doing one later on today and try to do as many as I possibly can this month. But it's okay if you are camera shy, but using this group energy at this time is really, really beneficial to overcome those fears, because we are such a loving community and so supportive of each other. So that's the biggest thing that I can offer right now is it's okay to toot your horn and to allow yourself to shine and be as you are.
Lovely. Yes.
Yes.
And be sure to post your links in the comments so people can find you.
Yes. Can I do that when the replay comes?
Yes, in the replay, and just post your whatever links you want in the comments there.
All right, perfect.
So everyone can find you.
Okay, perfect. Because I don't have my glasses on right now, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to see how to do that at the moment.
Yep. Once it's on replay.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been lovely.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be with everyone. And I absolutely love the paintings that are behind you. I was
Oh, thank you.
mesmerized by them when I saw another interview with you, and they have been very grounding and very soothing as I look through the lens at you and the paintings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I will say goodbye to everybody for now. Have a good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Artist Cafe. Goodbye for now.
All right. Bye.